Hello, friends, and welcome to today's podcast. And I'm so excited because I have a very special person with me who is such an amazing woman of God. And I have Trish with me here in this studio that is also my office, actually. Yeah, so welcome, Trish, to the podcast.
Hi, everybody.
Trish, do you want to introduce yourself and tell something about yourself to the audience?
Well, I am a member of this Hondo Methodist Church. I've lived in this area for over 30 years. I'm married, and Nihar is new to our community, and so it's been wonderful getting to know you. But I've been teaching Sunday school for a long time, so she thought maybe I could be a sounding board, so we could discuss what the Bible says, because it's really hard to evangelize if you don't know what the Bible says.
Yeah. Yes. So Trish is just being humble. Actually, she's an amazing, you can say, teacher. She leads the adult Sunday school in the church, and she's been doing it from quite some time now. And she is when I've reached out to her, I know that she really dig into the Bible, get the revelations out. She meditate on it, and today we are kind of in that journey that we are reading together the book of James, right? And do you want to share some background about the book?
Okay, so James is the half-brother of Jesus.
Yes.
And he really didn't believe that Jesus was the Messiah
Initially, yes.
until Jesus died. And this book it's a short book. I think it's 5 chapters.
Yeah.
And it's really about how to live the Christian life. The audience of this book are Jewish Christians.
Yes.
And there are some Jewish Christians, some of wealth, some of not so much wealth, but they're all in one church, and it seems to be that they're not getting along all that well.
Yeah.
And so, in a way, he's chastising them, but in a positive way, telling them what is the right way to behave and how to treat your brothers and sisters in the church.
Yeah. So when I was trying to do some of the research about the background, it was fascinating to know that this was one of the first initial books that were written, and it was during the time of diaspora, like when the church, when the Christianity was not a religion that time. It was like a kind of Judaism was the religion, but then the people who started believing in Jesus, people started seeing, okay, they talk like Jesus, they walk like Jesus, they heal like Jesus, they share gospel like Jesus, so they start looking like Christ, and that's why people started calling them Christians, like Christ. And if you say that, like, these were the people when book of James, if we see that, as you mentioned, it was written to Jews, but these were the Jews who started believing in Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And it is also one of the, Old Testament have a lot of wisdom books, and I personally feel this very much, the writing style and everything is like a wisdom book. Like Proverbs is a wisdom book, Job is a wisdom book, Ecclesiastes is a wisdom book. And if you see that this book, the writing style is very similar to those kinds of books, because it tells us how we can practically live our faith. Like, it is easy to have faith, but then how to actually believing and then living it, and how to believe in those, you're going to see that right now when we are going to start talking about it. It is not about just having a theology in your mind or just your doctrinal truths in your mind. It is about how we live it, actually.
Yeah.
So it's amazing. I love the book.
And sometimes he's a little harsh.
Yes.
He doesn't mince his words.
So shall we dig in? So today we are going to do and talk from chapter number 1, verses 1 to 12, right, Trish? Yes. So you want to start? Go ahead.
To read it?
Yes. Let's first go and read a few verses, and then we will meditate on it. So it says, so I have a Hebrew, you can say that it's like from Hebrew to English translated Bible. So that's why the book of James is called as book of Jacob.
I saw that.
And yeah, so it says that Jacob, a servant of God and of the Lord Yeshua the Messiah, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, as we were mentioning, the diaspora that happened. My brothers, count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptations, knowing that the trying of your faith develops patience. But let patience complete its work, that you may be mature and complete, lacking nothing. If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives all men liberally and without criticism, and it will be given to him. So we're going to go slow. So, do you want to start? Go ahead.
So you may not realize that you carry a Bible, or you could potentially carry a Bible around with you all the time.
Yeah.
So how easy is it in your life to consider it pure joy when you go through trials? I mean, that second verse in itself is a little,
It's not easy.
No. It says, whenever you face trials of many kinds, and because you know that testing of your faith produces perseverance. So exactly how does that happen? I mean, instead of trials, we could say troubles,
difficult situations or problems or kind of things that are difficult to handle in our lives. And I think so. We all go through different kinds of trials or testing periods in our life. And I feel that like sometimes, because we are living in a social media age, everything looks so good. Like if I see somebody, like I keep scrolling down my friends and my family members and even the film stars and the people around the world, if you see their life, it's all picture perfect.
But
that's not the truth.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
And I think it doesn't matter how much money you have or how little you have. You're going to have trials. They might be different than other people's, but we do have trials. So I guess the idea is to consider this, that God is testing your trust in Him. If you are a believer, then you look at a trial as a way to show your Christianity, to show what you know, to show your faith and trust in God. Because if we trust that God is with us in our trials, then He will somehow make it good when it's all over.
Yeah.
Your car may have been stolen, but He could use that for good.
Yes,
you might have had too much. You might have loved your car just a little too much, and you paid probably a little too much for it.
Yeah.
And maybe He's trying to get you to have a different perspective on that sort of thing.
Yes. And one of the things that when I was meditating on it, it does not say that, feel that start feeling joy in your life during your temptation. It says count it. It's not feel it joy, like start feeling it's a very joyful moment or something like. It's saying count. It's like a spiritual accounting. If you see that, like I'm just trying to see it through a different lens. It is asking us to count it, like see the situation, and you have to count it as a joy. Because now, like what I feel that it says that when you fall into diverse temptation, knowing that trying of your faith develops patience. So there are 2-3 things. If you see that, it's asking you, talking about counting it joy and different kinds of temptations. Third thing, it's talking about faith and patience. If we see these 4 words now, so it's asking us to have faith in the time of your difficult time or whatever situation that you are going through in your life. It's asking you to have faith. Faith on what? Now faith on God.
And maybe switch out the word faith, just trust. If you have a hard time grasping faith, trust in God.
Yes. That God is going to handle this situation. And like when I was growing up, one of the things, like I've gone through tough times in my life. To be honest, yes. It's like even if we don't try to, it's not, we always show our good, strong face in front of everybody. But that's not the truth. We go weak. We all go through tough times. We all go through emotional seasons where we don't know how to handle the situation. But when we are meeting everybody, we have to show a happy face. But internally, we are having a struggle. I've gone through that phase. But then one of my faith, when I was growing up, I was not knowing a lot of the Bible. I used to say that I just have trust in God, and this one line that was always in my head was, I believe my God cannot let anything bad happen to me. I used to stick to that line. My God cannot let, even if whatever is happening, it looks bad, it feels bad, it sounds bad, and maybe people are criticizing you and saying that, everything, you have messed it up. Now things cannot be okay. But my faith was like, my God will not allow it.
So you did have that faith, even
Yeah,
though, okay.
yes. It was just hanging to that, how he is going to solve this, what it is going to bring out of the circumstances. I had no idea about it. But the only thing that I was hanging was like, my God will not let anything bad happen to me because he is a good God. That's it. If he's a good God, I don't want to put my logic behind it, because my logical mind may not give me a right answer in that push in that moment. But I was like, no, I believe he's a good God. He will take care of it. Yeah.
And you were saying count, and you might not know this, but different Bibles use different, like mine starts, it says consider it, and you said count.
Count it,
so,
yes.
Different versions of the Bible use different phrasing, and so
And
sometimes it helps to switch around just to see what different versions say to help you understand it better.
Yes. So one of the things that I'm like, this happened like few days back when I was in my personal Bible study. I am studying Hebrews, book of Hebrews. So in chapter number 11, it talks about what is the definition of faith. Okay, so it says that like faith is a substance. If you say that, like, let me just quickly read it to you, because we are talking about faith and having faith in God and what we are supposed to believe. I'm going to just read that portion to you. Okay. It says, now faith is the substance of the things hoped for. Okay, so now when nowadays this is my new hobby, you can say that I try to dig in and try to find out the Greek words, because the New Testament was originally written in Greek. And so I was like, every word by word I'll pick it out and I'll see the Hebrew version. I'll just study few lines, maybe few verses, like maybe 3 or 4 verses in my Bible study, but I'll just take and dissect each word. With like Greek, it is written like this and that. So
where do you have the time for that?
when I go back home in my personal Bible study time, that's what I like. Nowadays, this is my new thing. So when I was just seeing this, now faith is the substance. So when it says the substance word that is being used in here, in original Greek, when you translate it, it means title deed. So
Something
faith,
you own?
Title deed. Like it's like for example, I own a property. So it has a title deed. So it says faith is a title deed of things hoped for. And the Spirit of the Lord started speaking to me. It's like I felt that God is saying, when you have faith in God, like my God is going to do this for me. God is saying it's not just a good feeling, hoping that everything will turn out to be good. It's not just a positive expectation of that.
Unrealistic.
So it's not asking you to do that, just have a false hope, just imagine that something good will happen. It's saying in spiritual realm, God is writing the title deed and giving it to you.
And that's faith.
And that's faith. Faith is a substance, it's a title deed of what you're hoping for. So when you are sticking to a promise of God, like God said that I will bless you and I will bless everyone who blesses you. Like I'm just giving an example of the Abrahamic blessing. And you say that, Lord, I believe because of Jesus Christ, I am also a seed. I'm a descendant. I own the same spiritual blessings. I'm the seed of Abraham. Through that seed of Abraham, Jesus Christ, I'm also having now this Abrahamic blessings in my life. So I take this verse and I say, I am blessed. Now, God, because I have faith on this promise of God, that God is going to turn my situation, and because I'm blessed, things are going to turn around. So God, in spiritual realm, write a title deed and give it to you. And then I'm talking about what the Spirit of the Lord was talking to me. And he said, when you doubt, you lose your title deed. And that's why that's not being fulfilled. It was so amazing.
Further in our reading, they talk about
Yes.
when you ask in faith.
So now when we are talking about it, it's saying count it joy. Again, it's not just a feeling. You have to just have a spiritual accounting that, I'm going to change my lens to a faith lens. And now I'm going to look at the situation, and it's saying that, let perseverance or patience complete its work. That means God has allowed that situation to happen in your life, and you have to allow that testing time to do its full work. And what is your faith? You're looking at the faith lens is that God is going to do everything good for me, and I'm going to allow this thing to happen to me, and I'm going to stick and stand on that faith that my God is faithful in my life. And that's why Romans 8:23, I guess it says that all things work together for the goodness of those who believe and love God. So you're just having that, and you have changed that lens to a joyful lens and seeing your situation in a very different angle and perspective. And it's saying, let it completely do its work. Yeah.
Because a lot of times our trials are not just a 5-minute trial. It could be a year trial. It could be a 5-year trial.
Yeah.
And you just have to know that God has purpose
Yes.
for it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm going to read it. But let the patience complete its work, that you may be mature and complete and lacking nothing. So now, when I read Bible, I just always feel that every single word is a promise in itself. It's saying, it's kind of giving you an assurance. If you allow this to happen and you don't prematurely try to jump out of that using your own wisdom or trying to just all kind of wrong methods to just get out of it, it's going to do a work in your life and produce something that will be good for you, and you will lack nothing.
Ultimately, this is to make you more Christ-like.
Wow. Exactly. It'll be making you more Christ-like.
Because you get endurance and strength and faith through the Word of God.
Yeah. And it's similar to like when we are maturing in our age, like when we are young, and if we are supposed to write an exam, and I said, I don't want to write this exam, and I jump out of my examination hall, I will not mature to the next class.
And you won't know you won't be able to prove what it is you actually know, and what you're capable of.
And we will not be, you can promote it to the next grade, you can say that.
Good point, yeah.
And then we have to keep going through that again and again. Keep repeating that testing and again and again. And that's why God says that there is one place, I think so in book, which there is one place Paul writes that, according to the time you should have been mature, but right now you are still spiritual babes and drinking spiritual milk. It's because what is happening to these people? They are reading the same thing, they are working, like God is teaching them the same things, but they're just not ready.
Growing in the faith, yeah.
And that's why you have to again feed the same things, because you're just not ready to move to another level in spiritual kingdom, you can say that.
Yeah, I hadn't looked at it like that.
Yes.
Okay, so what comes next? Verse 5?
Yeah.
If any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you. Now, don't misunderstand that. Number one, you have to ask for wisdom, and the wisdom has to be godly. What you ask for has to be within the realm of God, who is all powerful and all good and all love. It has to fit within His framework. Mm-hmm. But when you ask, you must believe and not doubt, because the one who doubts is like a wave of the sea, blown and tossed by the wind. And here's where it gets harsh. That person should not expect to receive anything from the Lord. Such a person is double-minded and unstable in all they do.
Mm-hmm.
Yikes.
Yeah. And as you were saying, a little harsh, but he is telling the truth. Yes. Mm-hmm. You want to expand on it?
Well, I was doing a Bible study previously of this, and I thought, I really was thinking, gosh, that's harsh. I mean, because it's, I guess even if we have our doubts, we have to say, God, take away my doubt, please. And if we know that we cannot do it on our own, no matter what it is, we need God. If we want to be more like God, He is the only one who can make us more like Him. And so that's how I look at it. If you go back and forth, you trust, you don't trust, you pray for something and then you take it back and try to do it yourself. That's just like what you were saying. You're going in circles.
Yeah.
And if you can just really relinquish your will to God's will, then He will be there to guide you through this.
I was like, when I was reading, I was like, suddenly, didn't he jump into, like, he was talking about trials,
Yeah.
and then suddenly he has jumped into wisdom. And I was like questioning, why, Lord? Like, isn't it like suddenly twist to another?
But no.
Exactly,
No.
yes.
He's saying, I know you're going to go through trials and you can't handle it, so here's the answer for you.
Yes. So now that's what the Lord was trying to like teach me. And again, as I said, I started doing the
Concordance.
digging, from the Greek words. So the Greek word for wisdom here is Sophia. Sophia.
Okay.
So Sophia means wisdom, and and the meaning for the Sophia word, you can say that for wisdom is actually like when you're going through a trial, or you can say testing period in your life, you need wisdom to handle that testing. Because how you will get out of this, it's not going to magically happen, and how to stay in that situation. Obviously, God has put you into this testing phase, or allowed this temptation to work in your life, but then God is asking you to, as you mentioned, that depend on spiritual wisdom. And if you say that in James itself, when you'll go to the chapter number 5, it'll talk about different kinds of wisdoms. One is a spiritual wisdom and earthly wisdom, but spiritual wisdom is pure and good, and it thinks
Divine.
about, yes,
Divine.
It's a divine good wisdom.
Yeah.
We will be talking about that. But yeah, when you say that, like how to, so now, whenever we are going through a trial or testing, God is asking you to ask for the wisdom in these kinds of situations. Like the solution is also given by God. He's allowing you to be in the trial, and then He's like, ask for the answer as well, and I will give you the answer, and you will. So it's like kind of God is teaching us to listen to Him.
Do you know what else? The Bible is full of people who make mistakes.
Yeah.
And it's how God deals with it. It's, our preacher always says this, basic instruction before leaving earth is
Yes,
what the Bible is.
Bible is,
But
yes.
they use all kinds of people's lives and experiences to guide us, because God
Yes,
then
that's
shows
such
the
an
right
amazing-
way to
yeah,
handle
yeah.
the situation. So that's why it's also very important to read the Bible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is full of wisdom, and that's why if you say, it's like the Bible is, and if you say that Joshua, when he was entering into the promised land and he had to lead so many people, and obviously he needed wisdom, right? Like he needed wisdom to handle so many people, and how to even take care of the enemies that are lying in front of me. So he was like, God, that was a testing for him, that to get into those shoes of Moses, like it was a big shoe to fit into, actually, you can say that. And he would have been nervous, no confidence in himself, but then he's like, what did God instructed him? He's like, let this book of law, it does not depart from your mouth. Meditate on it day and night, and you will be prosperous in everything that you do. So as you said, that Bible is so full of wisdom, and like in those times, that was the book that they have, the Bible, or the book of law that they had, and God is saying that you will find your answers in here, and it'll help you to
And
take
the
care
law
of
is
them.
the first 5 books of the Bible.
Yes.
Even today, I mean, Joshua got a new job, basically, and he had to fill the shoes of a man who had years and years of experience, and he had to step in, and he had to have been a little bit nervous because it was a pretty big job that he was going to fill.
I couldn't imagine that. Like suddenly taking care of, like, they were not
Millions
just
of people.
Millions of people. He was responsible for their lives and their children and their wives. Oh my God, like, you have not like responsibility of your own life, of your own family, but hundreds of people, millions of people, their children, their family, and then there are enemies and giants there who can just destroy them like that. I cannot even understand what kind of faith it requires to, and then when we compare all those things to our lives and our temptations and testing times, I think so they are such a role models for us to have faith in God, and God can be with them, He can be with us. So yes, God. And then it says that when you ask God to give you wisdom, do not doubt that He's not going to give it to you, because the person who doubts is a double-minded person. Very strong thing, as I was talking about. So it has like two things, like you ask God, like, this has happened to me personally, I've done that. Like, I'll be like, God, help me in this situation, but then I will use all my mind and other people's help to solve my problem. And I will not even wait for godly wisdom or God to counsel me or direct me. And it says, don't think you will receive anything from the Lord if you are doubting. I think so one of the reasons you won't receive, as I was saying, faith is a title deed. And like like when you are having faith, you're saying God has given the title deed and given it to you, and you're holding to your faith and that title deed that God is going to give it to me, and you're waiting patiently to actually manifest in the real world. So in Ephesians chapter number 1 verse 3, it says God has already blessed us with all spiritual blessings in heavenly realms, but now to manifest it in the real world, you have to hold on to the faith until it becomes the reality. You are holding to the faith. But if you doubt, doubting is losing your deed. And if you don't have you own a house right here, right? And if you lose your property papers, can you claim that land or your house? You cannot, because you have lost.
Unless you go to the title company.
Yes.
Just kidding.
But yeah, and that's why God is saying doubt is an enemy, or it's something that will steal away all the promises from your life.
And that's something we need to point out. There is a spiritual realm of Satan as well that is
He is ready to
dying to take you away from God. Verse 9?
Yeah.
Do you want me to read that?
Yes.
Okay. Believers in humble circumstances ought to take pride in their high position, but the rich should take pride in their humiliation, since they will pass away like a wild flower. I think I'll stop right there.
Yeah.
So he's encouraging the poor within that community. It doesn't say in the Beatitudes, those who are poor in spirit shall inherit the kingdom of heaven.
Yes.
And a lot of those, and so God cherishes those who are downtrodden and who are suffering, and they should, in the spiritual realm and in eternity, they will be blessed. Whereas the people who were rich and had more faith in their physical goods, they are not going to be, their wealth can burn up and fly away, and what do they have left, if they don't have their faith? Mm-hmm. So that's also kind of harsh. So the poor will take pride, and the rich will be humiliated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do not depend on material earthly goods.
Mm-hmm.
For the sun rises with scorching heat and withers the plant. Its blossom falls, and its beauty is destroyed. In the same way, the rich will fade away, even while they go about their business.
Mm-hmm.
Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because, having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life that the Lord has promised to those who love him.
Wow.
Isn't that
such
lovely?
A nice,
Yeah.
kind of closing or summarizing the trial part. So you have already summarized the portion about the lowly, the the poor and the rich. But again, one of the things what I feel that one of the biggest trials that every man goes through is related to money. If you see that, like, we all are in this world working and running to take care of this. So yes, there are two kinds of people in the world and in the church as well. There are people who have much and who have little. And I think so they both go through a different kind of testing related to money. And that's why Bible says when you fall into a diverse kinds of temptation, there will be many temptation, but one of the temptation is this. And I think so when James was addressing to this church in the diaspora, obviously when they were fleeing away from their house, some of them does not have much of materialistic goods, so their temptation or trial is related to money. So he's saying the people who does not have much, how they are supposed to look at life is that you will be rewarded and God is going to take care of you and you will have the glory in your life. And the second kind of people is the people who have much. Their biggest challenge and temptation is to stay humble
and not rely on
I feel like
money, their money.
and their kind of temptation is to share their goods. Like if you see, Bible teaches us, if you see somebody in need, you have to help. How, like, that's a kind of temptation. You want to hold it or you want to release it. Second, like if you are in a little high, like, because with money comes power as well. I feel that in this world it is, you have power with money. And how are you using that? Again, this is another kind of a temptation. You have much. How are you going to treat people around you and use that authority that God has given to you? Whatever you have, it is a blessing of God, and how you are going to handle that money. And use that power to help others and see and behave around the people in the church, like who does not have much. So it's like he's addressing both of them. You have much, you will be humbled, and that's what and he's like, we have to be kingdom minded. What is in God's kingdom, all of you are equally loved by God. So now this is your temptation and this is your temptation. How are you going to handle this situation? I feel that's why it's been related to that trial part. If from 1 to 12, if you see, and then he is kind of concluding in verse number 12, blessed is the man who endures the temptation. Okay, so now till now, he was talking about trial and testing, but now the topic has been changed to temptation. So there is a difference between trial and temptation.
Right.
God allows trials, but then we will be reading in the next podcast. Yes. But now he's shifting to the temptation part. And I think so we are going to pick up and start from there next podcast. But what I'm trying to tell you is, it's such, okay, I think so I will never forget this because it has been registered in my mind when I was studying this. James chapter number 1 verse 1 to 12 talks about dealing with the difficult, hard times in your life. First point, like if let's try to just it in few points.
So perhaps why trials are not punishment, but a platform for growth.
Yes. And I think so we just need to change our lenses to look at our temptation as an opportunity for God to work in our life. And it is going to bring maturity in our life. And it is going to, after going through that trial, we will lack nothing.
And be content no matter what your situation.
Yeah. And then, what is the second point?
Joy in suffering.
Yes.
And how grace reframes our hardships.
Yes. Amazing, yeah.
So grace is something we haven't really talked about yet, but grace is something we don't deserve, but that God gives us anyway if we are believers in His Son. And let's see, if you can accept the grace of God, it reinforms your mind of how to look at. So something thought I was dealing with a hardship, and I was listening to an audiobook, and it was about a couple, and it's a true story, who wanted to go on a long voyage. They built the boat, and after a couple of weeks, and they were across the Pacific Ocean. They were in the middle of nowhere, and a whale knocked a hole into the side of their boat. And so they ended up, I can't remember how many days, 47 days, but the hardships that they endured, they were this close to death when finally the sixth ship or seventh saw them, and they were like a God rescue. They picked them up, they clothed them, they fed them. But anyway, I quit feeling sorry for myself, because to see that perspective, it was like mine is a nothing compared to, what they were going through. So, and interesting, not interesting, these two had no faith in God. They both claimed to be atheists. And so perhaps if they had reached out to God, they might have caught that second ship. Who knows?
Yes,
but
yeah.
Anyway, your perspective on your hardships. I was a little embarrassed after hearing how awful their trials were. But yes, grace reframes our...
Yeah. And second thing, I think so, one of the things that is very important if you see in this chapter is talking about going through, God expects you to ask help from Him if you're going through a test, or you can say a trial. He is asking you to ask for wisdom, and He's saying He's ready to give it to you generously. How many times you're facing a difficult times in your life, He's not saying that, last time I gave wisdom to you, this time, no. Handle your own problem.
Or I don't like the way you handled my wisdom last time.
Yeah.
So, no.
He is saying He is going to give it generously to you.
Yeah.
So ask God wisdom, because He wants to speak to you. And as Trish very wonderfully addressed, that you find wisdom in God's book of law. Meditate on it. The Bible is God's handbook that will provide you wisdom. Yes.
And it's wisdom that has lasted through the ages, because what worked then, sometimes 3,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, still works today.
Yeah.
So.
And a very practical way of understanding how to have faith. Faith is a title deed. It's a substance that you have to hold on to. If you're doubting, you're just losing it. You can't claim it. So when I just meditate on the word with these kinds of images in my mind, it helps me to have, cling on to it.
Something concrete.
Yes. So so that's what God is saying. In the times of troubles, when you are trying to seek an answer, you have to believe, and you are meditating on it. You find that, okay, this is the way. Don't keep doubting. Okay, should I take the step? Should I not take the step? Will God bless me in this way? Will God not bless me in this way? Trust that, Lord, I'm going to take this decision. I believe, I've prayed about it. I've rested. I'm not taking any decision in haste, really quickly. I heard this, I've come to a conclusion. It's not like that. You have prayed about it. You have rested in your mind. You have decided, and then do not doubt. Just go forward with it, because you are believing that God is going to bless you in this thing. So it's kind of, don't keep tossing like a wave in your faith.
And so let's see, grace gives us strength.
Yeah.
God gives us strength, not an escape.
Yeah. Oh yeah, such a beautiful point. Yeah. And I think so we are going to conclude it by the third point that we discussed, was talking about one of the trial and temptations all of us face is related to money. And whatever you have more or you do not have more, there is a temptation that is related to that. If it is in your life, God is giving us a divine instruction how to handle your finances. And in your life, if you do not have much, believe that God is going to provide for you, take care of you, and you will be exalted. And the people who have money, you have to be more wise and careful and humble in that situation to help around people who are around you. So yeah, we all are going through trials and temptations. We're going to talk about that later. But in our lives, then how we handle it is the point that James is talking about. Yeah.
I hope you'll listen to us next time because it gets more and more interesting
Yes.
and more applicable to life as we make our way through this book.
Yeah.